kids, they think it's all over. It is now.
Hello and welcome to They Think It's All Over. Now, David is off sipping gin and tonics in India, so we're happy to welcome as his replacement an Olympic rower who, after winning 3 consecutive gold medals with Steve Redgrave, is known across the globe as the Andrew Ridgeley of rowing. Matthew Pinsent, CBE. With Matthew and Jonathan this week is a former world champion racing driver, although these days the only driving he does is taking the kids to school. He usually splutters to a halt outside the post office. Damon Hill, OBE. Gary is still away, getting a real tan to go on top of his fake one, so once more, into the breach steps Steve Davis. With Steve and Rory is ITV's Formula 1 and basketball presenter, who caused a stir at Wimbledon last year when she snogged Olympic rower James Cracknell in the royal box. Prince Harry was so shocked, he dropped his crack pipe. Beverley Turner. We kick off this week with Sporting Bluff. Matthew, Jonathan and Damon, your 3 alleged facts concern the team for whom Damon here won the Formula 1 world title. That is, of course, Williams.
The Williams motor racing team was once sponsored by the Cray family.
The Williams motor racing team was once sponsored by the Royal family.
The Williams motor racing team was once sponsored by the Bin Laden family.
Before we start, Nick, may I just say, what an enormous honour it is for me to be sitting next to this man, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic. And look at the size of him. If ever there was an argument in favour of GM foods, look at him.
You do look like a 15-year-old bingo caller next to him.
But what an honour to be sitting next to a man who is a close personal friend of Sir Stephen Redgrave. 5-time gold winner, Sir Stephen Redgrave. Fantastic, what a man.
I'll give him your best.
I'm on the most honoured team on the show, because you've got the CBE, is that right?
Yep.
And Damon Hill, lovely to have Damon Hill, you have the OBE?
The OBE, yeah.
And believe it or not, I have an MBE. I stole it from David's dressing room. No reasonable offer refused.
You've been decorated by the Queen, haven't you?
Yes, I have, yes.
Jonathan's been decorated by David Blunkett.
Of course, Gary Lineker, when he's here, he's an OBE and an Earl, which makes him an earlobe.
Imagine if it was the royal family, though. They would say, who's in the old banger? Oh, it's just Charles, lapping Camilla. Hey, come on, that is a racing term.
Oh.
That is a racing term.
You know Harry's got some extra speed if you need it.
Oh. I've gotten a way you could improve driving performance, I think. They should improve the pit stops.
You should have an interval. We have intervals.
Well, you do. Yeah. Every snooker player does.
Yours has gone from 1989 to the present day.
I tell you what, though, it is genuinely a thrill to have Damon on, because Damon was one of the greats as well. This is a top show, this, isn't it? It really is. One of the greats. In your glory days, you were superb. Obviously, you lost it a bit in the later years. It was quite sad. I remember tuning in once and seeing you being lapped by Stephen Hawking. But even so... Did you sort of calm down as you got older, do you think? Because I have this picture of you sitting in your car and Michael Schumacher tearing past and you going, you won't get there any quicker, you know. What was the other one? Bin Laden.
Bin Laden, yeah.
Bin Laden. Well, you'd know if it was Bin Laden, wouldn't you? Because they'd be the drivers who get in, they wouldn't ask where the brake pedal was, would they? Is there plenty of fuel? I'm off.
I think it's Bin Laden.
You think Bin Laden?
Yeah.
What do you think, Captain?
I'm happy to go with the motor racing aspect.
OK, so you think that Rory was telling the truth. Let's see if you're right. Yes, Rory was telling the truth. The Bin Laden family sponsored Williams back in 1979, promoting their bedroom furniture business. The Bin Laden family made millions in the 70s from cheap domestic furniture. Their chief rivals at the time were the provisional MFI and Continuity World of Leather. Steve, Rory and Beverley, it's that much-travelled manager for you, Steve Bruce. Here he is, watching his latest charges, Birmingham, go out of the Cup to Liverpool.
Gerrard. Anelka. Nicholas Anelka's first goal back in English football.
Now, in the last year or so, Steve Bruce has been manager of Huddersfield, Wigan, Crystal Palace and now Birmingham. What we want to know is, what does Steve Bruce do between jobs?
In between jobs, Steve Bruce is a Samaritan's telephonist.
In between jobs, Steve Bruce is a spirit medium.
In between jobs, Steve Bruce is a novelist.
Samaritans, or Tottenham Hotspur club call, as they're called.
Spirit medium, I don't know.
Medium. I know that Peter Beardsley went to see a faith healer. Oh, sorry, it was a face healer, sorry.
You'd like to be a medium, wouldn't you?
Yeah, because I am double extra large and also small. Because you used to go to Jamie Theakson, didn't you?
A long, long time ago.
There was a scurrilous story in The Sun.
Ages and ages.
Ages and ages ago. Nobody can remember it except ours. Beverley had suggested that her ex-boyfriend Jamie was not over-blessed in the Todger department.
No, I did not. Just for the record.
But you didn't, but that's what the story was.
That was the story in the paper, yeah, and it did get a little bit out of hand.
Well, that counts as big for me.
You like rowers, don't you, Beverley?
I don't like all rowers.
So which rowers don't you like?
What
Just
about
the Owl
Matt?
and the Pussycat?
But Lineker's very attractive on men, isn't it?
Lycra, on certain men. I don't think it should be recommended as team outfit here, to be honest.
Can I just deal with one thing now, which is
Yeah.
probably on your mind? Just in case there's any awkward tension later on in the programme, I am married.
I think Steve's more my type, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Really?
The quiet type, you know.
Quite dull type.
No.
The grateful type.
Steve Bruce. I got a feeling I read somewhere he had written novels. He wrote A Tale of Two Cities, 4 Uniteds and a Crystal Palace, didn't he?
So you're trying to say it's a novelist?
You think Jonathan told the truth? Let's see if you're right. Yes, Jonathan had it correctly. Steve Bruce puts his well-hidden literary skills to good use on crime novels. Here's one. Fantastic, starring a familiar-sounding hero manager called Steve Barnes. And here's an example of why Steve Bruce has never won the Booker Prize. "You smell good," I said. "You smell," she replied. I knew it wasn't true, so I guessed that when she wasn't busy being an international terrorist, she must have a sense of humour. Well, that's from Sweeper, which coincidentally is Steve's next job. Steve's kids have now been to more primary schools than chicken pox. The social services are thinking of taking his children away and giving them to the Killshaws. To be fair, Steve isn't the only footballer who's written fiction. There was Jonathan Woodgate's statement to the police. And at the end of that round, Matthew's team have 3 points and Steve's team have 3 points. The second round this week has us examining some more ridiculous excuses. Matthew's team, your question this week concerns West Ham, seen here dumping Macclesfield out of the cup.
Brilliant header away by Adams. Nobody picked it up except Cole, who makes it 3.
Now, that match came right after the team's controversial Christmas party at which Australian defender Hayden Fox there stood on the bar of the Sugar Reef nightclub and openly relieved himself. But of course, he had a perfectly good excuse for urinating in public. So what was it, Matthew's team?
Steve, did you not have something similar happen to you when you went to a club called the Crucible and Ronnie O'Sullivan pissed all over you?
Well, you're not going to get a knighthood that way.
Steve, snap back with one of your one-liners. Go on.
Damon, when you're in the car there, how do you drive all that period? How do you do that without weeing?
Well, they got very tight crotch straps. You know, you get them to pull them tight and then you just hold it in.
I'm not asking about the party afterwards. When you're in the car... But how do you avoid... is there techniques, mind control? Is there something you do?
Bladder control, usually, you know, sort of thing you learn when you're growing up.
It's the sort of thing you learn when growing up. There you see you have Jonathan at a disadvantage.
I've never wet myself.
You never wet yourself? What about other drivers?
I've cracked myself a few times.
But other drivers must wee, don't they?
I'm sure, yeah, there was a couple of, well, we can't mention any names, but there was one guy who used to pee so often it used to rot the chassis and he used to have to keep changing the car every race.
Poor little Jensen Button. They put a potty in there for him. And a nightlight. And a mobile. Was he at a party this
Yeah.
At parties, it's excusable, people do weird things at party. Why, just a little while ago, we had our big Christmas party, didn't we? You don't remember much of it, do you, Nick? You photocopied your arse.
Did I?
Yeah, you had to push 4 machines together, but I'll tell you what, it was worth it. David Gower bought his young nephew. Who'd have thought he had family in the Philippines? Lovely young boy, Suck Young Dick, I think his name was. He was a lovely fella. So what excuses did he give?
Yeah.
He was full of high spirits.
No.
He'd met a young lady, he wanted to mark his territory.
No. Aidan Fox's agent, Peter Smiley, said that his client was merely attempting to water a thirsty pot plant with his willy. And watching Jordan was said to be shocked she'd never seen one pointing downwards before. Steve's team, in response to Jonathan's plea last week for more female sports action, we take a look now at women's boxing. Here's Cambridge University's first ever woman boxer, Jess Hudson, in training for her latest fight.
On your front. 20.
Ahead. Up and down.
Now, what we want to know is, why was an amateur bout featuring Jess and model Tamazin Malia banned at the 11th hour?
Was there a massive argument over whether the scales were right?
Very good. You're a fan of lady boxers, aren't you, Rory? Although you prefer lady Labradors given the choice, yeah. It's an old friend.
It's a lovely, lovely old friend.
It's an old friend.
She was fighting a model?
Yes, Tamazin Malia, I believe her name was.
You used to be a model, didn't you?
I did do some modelling, yeah, while I was at college and stuff.
What did you model?
All sorts of things, commercials, sportswear, swimwear.
Swimwear?
You ever do a thong?
Well, when you're modelling swimwear, do you have to sort of, do any waxing?
I did wax James's legs recently. Matt knows this. Matt's seen him in the shower. He was, like Matt, has to have treatment, and they were so hairy that it hurt to have massages. So he was going to shave them, and I said, don't shave them, they'll just grow back more hairy. So I said, I'll wax them.
Did you do the plums?
But we did have that dilemma of where to stop. At one point, he was wearing furry hot pants.
I think life has just passed me by.
That reminds me of a stripper I saw underneath a Polish hotel once. When she was completely naked, it looks like she was wearing cashmere knickers. All the way round. All the way round.
Can we have an answer off you?
Okay, some man decided that he just didn't want them to do it.
Yeah, I'll give you the points for that.
Hey.
I'll give you the points for that. Yes, even though the fight was perfectly legal, ABA officials said they disapproved of women fighting, and they called it off on the technical grounds that the difference in weight between the two women was too great. In fact, women's boxing is the only combat sport with no heavyweight division, only the does my bum look big in this division. Like their male counterparts, women's world boxing champions win a Lonsdale belt, although it's the matching Lonsdale handbag they really look forward to. Jess Hudson has 6 A's at A-level and is known as the Carol Vorderman of boxing. Although, as every punch is thought to destroy 10,000 brain cells, it won't be long before she's known as the Carol Smiley of boxing. And at the end of that round, Matthew's team have 3 points and Steve's team have 6.
You like that one?
Round 3 sees the introduction of some fresh legs as we bring you our new round, Rules of the Game. Matthew's team, here's something with which your captain at least will be familiar.
And at Eton College, the traditional games were once more enthusiastically played. Few holes are barred, but the rules are obscure and involved, and the umpires, who are often the only men to know where the ball really is, have a hard time keeping it in sight.
That was the wall game played on St Andrew's Day at Matthew's former school, Eton. Now, as you may have guessed, we'd like to know the rules of this noble sport. We've found 4 important rules. We'll give you 3 points if you get 2 of them, and 1 point if you only get 1.
I think one of the rules is that they must let Jonathan Ross within about a couple of miles of the game.
No, that's Jonathan King you're thinking of.
Listen, I'm not the one wearing a KY jelly outfit.
But you spotted it with alarming speed. How much is Eton per term, young fella?
I can't remember, I wasn't paying the bills.
Sit up straight. I believe Eton is something like £14,000 a term. Can you believe that? £14,000 a term, but apparently you get an education second to none. Let me just check here. What is the atomic number of strontium? Do you know?
No, I don't know the atomic number.
See, I don't know either, but I don't know for nothing. It cost me a penny.
I think the rules are you can't handle the football in the scrum.
That's 1.
You can't punch somebody, but I think I remember it that you can actually kind of grind your fist into someone's face, which is nice for passing an afternoon.
I'll give you 3 points.
I'm thinking very solid.
I'll give you 3 points. It's nice that you remember something from school, anyway. The most important rules we managed to fathom for the wall game were as follows. Number 1, players score a point by hitting the ball against either end of the wall. Number 2, players are not allowed to handle the ball. Number 3, players must not let any part of their body except their feet and hands touch the ground. And number 4, players must not strike or hold opponents. Prince Harry is a keen player of the wall game and scores regularly, just before every match. Steve's team, have a look at this. Now, to prevent ugly scenes like that from sullying the good name of football ever again, a code of conduct for football mascots has recently been drawn up. So what are the new rules? Again, I'll give you 3 points if you get 2, and 1 point if you only get 1.
Do they have mascots in snooker?
No.
Huey the Kiwi.
What, for each player? No.
Rex the rest. Stifle the yawn. So what possesses a sort of grown man to dress up in ludicrous costumes just to please the crowd? Jonathan.
Yeah.
Tell ya, it's such a shame because my big blue sparkly head wasn't back from the cleaners.
So there's a code of behaviour for mascots, isn't there? Not allowed to sort of interfere with play, sort of gesticulate during the play, or if there's a penalty, for example.
Yeah, they certainly can't put off penalty takers, that's 1, yeah.
Phew. Steve, over to you, mate.
No, I haven't got any idea at all.
Yeah, we know that, but just try and answer the question.
Are they not allowed to fight with their helmets off?
That's actually 2 in 1. Well done, you get your 3 points. Well done. Number 1, no attempts to put off opposition penalty takers. Number 2, keep entire costume on while in character, so mooning is strictly forbidden. Number 3, no attacking other mascots, whatever animal they may resemble. And number 4, no wandering on the pitch during play, especially if you're Leicester's mascot, Adi the Akimbai. Cardiff chairman Sam Haman has recently been involved in a bust-up with club mascot Bartley the Bluebird. He's good for the club and good for the crowd, but once he gets his suit on, some of the things he does make you cringe, said the mascot. Other club mascots include Wrexham's, called Rex the Lion, Chesterfield's, called Chester the Mouse, and Scunthorpe's, which for some reason is called Thorpey. And at the end of that round, Matthew's team have 6 points and Steve's team have 9. Now it's time for us to teeter on the brink of legal behaviour as we play Field of Sportsmen. Jonathan and Matthew, you're up first this week if you'd like to take your positions. Take your blindfolds with you. 90 seconds to work out who you're feeling. Blindfolds on once you get there. Can we have our first mystery guest, please? And your time starts now.
Ponytail. Is it Damon? Does Damon slip there?
Speak up, Jonathan. I can't hear over this racket.
Is it? Come on. It's a skirt. Is it a tennis racket?
Yeah, tennis.
And a skirt? Tim Henman. It's Tim Henman. Tim. Britain's hope. Let's float. Do you mind if I have a little... I don't know who you are, but do you mind if I just touch you a bit? See, I've been married for almost 15 years, and for me, this is quite a nice night out. If you've just tuned in, I'm at Club X-Ray. Look at that. I did nothing! I tell you what, come down here, these legs are nice. Oh, that's not allowed in tennis.
Yeah, you're right, actually. Britain's lady tennis player, woman.
England's leading seed.
I'll be needing the name if it's Britain's ladies #1. Come on.
Betty Stover. Betty Stover. Oh, no, it can't be. There's no pipe. Brittany Stover.
It is in fact Hannah Collin.
Hey, Hannah.
Thank you, Hannah. OK, Stephen, Rory, off you.
You're very well behaved boys, weren't you?
Yeah, well, because we've learned from you, and I saw you last week trying to take that young girl's temperature with just your finger, and that isn't allowed. She complained.
She was normal, by the way.
Can we have our second mystery guest, please? OK, and your time starts now.
Oh.
Oh. Sorry.
Yes, I think we're in luck.
Oh, I think we're going to be in a minute. Yes.
I've got my Jordan's implant.
Oh. I think it's James Cracknell. Smooth legs, and of course, you know.
He's very thin.
Oh, I say. Quite fancy the stronger
Person's
woman.
got no legs.
Oh, hang on.
Is that an arm? It's bigger than my leg. That feels like... Feel that? It's about the same.
What's this? Is it something else? Have you done a Posh Spice joke already? It's that Cambridge boxer whose name Jessica.
This feels a bit hairy.
Jessica Hudson.
Jess Hudson is correct. So the scores at the end of that round are Matthew's team with 6, but Steve's team with 12. We wind up the show by playing the main game. The team in the lead goes first, which is Steve's team, quite easily. Beverley, can you pass those along, please, to Rory? As many names as you can in 90 seconds, starting now.
The famous novelist, United player, manager...
Steve Bruce.
That's it, This is your boyfriend that was... Your current boyfriend, I should say.
That was?
James Cracknell?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's just that he was snogging with somebody else backstage.
Jamie Theakson,
this is a retired NBA star. He used to play for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Common name for potato.
Oh, Spud. He wasn't playing
Worldwide.
when I was playing it. Yeah.
Spud. Worldwide. Worldwide. Oh, when you're on the internet, you're on the World Wide Web. Now. This is what the Australian West Ham player did on that bar. You know,
We.
Yeah, the right first letter.
P.
It sounds like P. And it's what he calls roo.
Woo.
P-woo. And it's at a wedding, this person traditionally shags the bridesmaid. P-woo, best man, of course. News at 10 used to have this news at 10, and that sound in between.
Dong. Ding.
Not dong. Not dong. Well, sort of a dong. It's more of a
bong.
Bong, that's right. And what do pigeons do?
Well, they...
What noise do they make?
They squawk. Coo.
Coo. Bang, bong, coo, yeah.
Bong, coo.
We're in with a chance.
You say you're in with a chance, you need 12.
Bring it on.
12.
Bring it on, Hancock.
Time starts now.
OK, it was the piss artist from earlier. He was standing on the bar. His name was...
the Aussie...
First name is like a second name is like a little animal, not a wolf. It's a...
Fox.
So first name
Hayden
is
Fox.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Well done. He's a bloke. He's got 5 Olympic medals. He is... I tell you what, I'm just so impressed.
Sir Stephen.
That's the man. OK, here's a Bella. Probably once you get to know him, he might be a lovely bloke. I don't know. At the moment, we're not on talking terms. Surely that's enough. He lives in a cave.
Oh,
Bin Laden.
Oh, Billon. OK, this bloke, I believe he's German for cobbler.
Schumacher.
Schumacher,
First
there you
name?
go. First name. He knows the first name. Don't be so pedantic, Hancock.
There's a Ralph as well.
You know he's
Come on.
All right. OK.
Herman.
Oh, this one. If you were doing what that bloke did from the bar, and you didn't shake enough, often there's a little bit extra, like a drip.
Dribble.
More of a like a magician would do something. It'd be a magic
Trick.
and you
Trickle.
Trickle. And the first name is where it comes from.
Dick Trickle. No.
Dick Trickle. Well done. All right. Well done, you're cooking now. This one is another mascot, the Southend mascot. He's from the crustacean family, small and pink.
Crab.
Not a crab, no.
Lobster.
Tiny little fella.
Shrimp.
Yeah, it's a shrimp, and his first name is the same as Mr. Davis Jr.
Sammy
the shrimp, OK. This is my favourite Arrows player. He looks a bit like Dracula. Well, he doesn't, but he sounds like Dracula. His second name is when you blow your nose or anything else that's dripping into a disposable...
Tissue.
Yeah, also another word for it
Hanky.
is... A hanky. First name will be the same as our former Prime Minister, Heath.
Edward Hanky.
Ted, that's right. And the middle name is on Sesame Street, the bloke who used to teach the kids numbers.
Count Dracula.
The Count, there.
Yes.
We've got to get that.
Yeah,
Oh, Jesus Christ. Easy.
Good effort. Matthew's team have 13, but this week's winner is Steve's team with 17. So our thanks to Matthew, Jonathan and Damon, Steve, Rory and Beverley. We're all off to give Steve Redgrave the credit for Matthew's performance. My name's Nick Hancock. They think it's all over. It is now.
George Best and Linford Christie. It's a question of sport next tonight here on BBC One.